Alright then everyone, hello and welcome to round 9 of the NEF1 Season 7 Championship. Once again here at the Albert Park Circuit, the revised Albert Park Circuit I should say, in Australia for what is round 9 of the NEF1 Championship. As said, we are at the halfway mark of the season, and things are really starting to heat up. This was supposed to be the Australian Grand Prix. We added on a couple of letters because of game issues from our beloved friends over at Codemasters. They fucked up the third sector in Austria, so we decided to go for everyone's favorite Australia instead. And this is going to be a race of attrition. We always have a hectic one here when we go to Albert Park. I don't think that is going to change tonight. It's a very, very fast and flowing circuit, this. You are 100% throttle for, I'd say, about 70% of the lap. They've taken away quite a bit of the heavy braking zones in Sector 2 and Sector 3, as said, and they have now made what would be turn 11 or turn 12 a very, very sharp right-hander with an incredibly awkward curb on the inside, a red sausage curb. We'll have a look at that curb in a little bit as we go along with Sam Obama, who's first out on track, having gotten his game issues sorted, I believe, as well. So Salmo now up to full capacity and full racing speed. He's feeling good about his place tonight. Let's see what he's going to be able to do in that Mercedes. He is partnered this week as well with Vister 012. Now, this is a debut, currently registered as a reserve here in NEF1, so not a full-time driver yet. But it's going to be his first outing this weekend here tonight in Australia. Going to be very interesting to see what he is capable of. Also, as well, Djokovic back on track, reigning defending champion, championship leader. But he might be under a little bit of threat. Nasi, not a lot of points behind Matty, unfortunately, in that championship battle as well. It's not racing tonight. However, Undercheck is emerging in that fight, scoring a total of 58 points in 2 races' times. He is currently, after 2 races, up in 7th in the standings, had he been on them. Which is an incredibly dominant performance from Undercheck over the last couple of weeks. But we'll see if he can convert here in Australia as well. Djokovic at the moment is a driver that is very much on form as well. Keep in mind, we are running out of time this season, half season still to go, so we're not running out of time. But we're getting to the clutch stage of the season. Q1, Q2, and Q3 is the regular here in NEF1, and we're going to be doing the same for tonight. No one is going to be eliminated in Q1. It's going to be a full-on practice session, you could probably say. Followed by a 15-minute shootout in Q2, where the bottom 5 are going to be eliminated, and then a top 10 shootout for pole position in Q3, followed by a 29-lap Grand Prix here. So a little bit of a longer race, actually. On distance, I think it might be one of the longest races in NEF1. Quite a long circuit, this, actually. 5.4 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken. But it goes by quick. And here we go, then. On board with Sam Obama for the corner that I was just talking about, an incredibly awkward right-hander. Do you see that sausage curb on the inside? If you clip that, you are gone, my friend. So don't touch that curb. Whatever you do throughout the race, it will absolutely murder you. Beautiful helmet, actually, from Sam Obama as well, just worth pointing out. And nice line through the last corner. DRS opening is going to set the first time of the session on a set of medium tires, mind you. It's going to be a 118.890. How's that for pace? I don't know. Vister is racing in the second Mercedes, as said. Undercheck then, out on track and on a set of intermediates, so we're not going to be on board with him. He's not going to give us a representative time. Samo still fastest, just about a couple of 300ths of a second faster than JV8. Ooh, Djokovic almost going sideways coming out of chicane, turn 9 and turn 10. Djokovic, you don't really want to risk any damage here early on this session, like Little Drips just did coming out of the very same chicane, and he is going to be starting last on the grid. We'll see him again for the Grand Prix. And in a session where you don't even have to get a time on the board, Little Drips, I'm not I'm not convinced that's a really good strategy, but he'll be able to stay out of trouble on the first lap, and that could really count for something. Djokovic goes third fastest, 18.970. He's followed by Iwat on 24.4 and Vister on 18.960. It's relatively close, everyone, inside the very high 18s there. See if we can get a lap time from Wigan on the board as well. Running a new helmet. It's light blue, yellow and dark blue. Wigan 71 is going to come across the line. Is it going to go fastest? No, to 19.4. Padarang is now retired. Oh, and God, goodness sake. In the same place. In the very same place as Little Drips. That's 2 guys out in a session where they don't even have to set a time. And this bodes well for the Grand Prix. They've done that corner once. And they're both out. So we're down to a... this might be a bit of a weird qualifying session, guys. I'm not going to lie. With those retirements, the stakes of Q2 has just gone down significantly. Padrang's just saying in chat there, he is stupid, he is stupid, he is stupid, and I very much agree, my old friend. Undercheck then, 25.091 set on, was that intermediate tires? Yes it is, same for iWatts. The Alpine selecting to go for the intermediates here early on in Q1. Don't really blame them, but it would be absolutely comedy if they went out because of it. A BT, please tell me he's on a proper set of tires. Yes he is, heading through Sector 1. There we go, yellow flags going through the track. Those quickly disappear, and he's got a slower moving car ahead of him. Oh, and that's a bit of a weird line from a BT. Not quite sure what went wrong there. Something went horribly wrong. Went deep, but it looks like he got the apex and everything. Looked like he almost lost grip mid-corner or at the exit of the corner, and that forced him to pull out of it. That's a bit of a weird incident for a BT, that. Got quite a long ways to go in this session, and no, iWatts is out, and no, iWatts is out of this session after... No? Oh, thank God, that was Ondricek going slow through Sector 1. It looked like it was almost stationary just before the Sector 1, Sector 2 split. I thought I was retired on track through terminal damage. No, iWatts has retired in the pit lane by the look of things, which means we will see him again in this qualifying session. JV8 has retired, also in the pit lane. I wonder if this is the first time where people are just going to retire in the pits when they've set a lap time so we can actually get on with it. We'll wait and see. Nasi out on a set of intermediates. I don't understand why you take that risk. I really don't. Obviously, it saves you a set of soft tires for the next session. But it is a risk just going out there on intermediates. Imagine you have a little bit of a moment on those inters. You go out, say you're someone like a Nasi who desperately needs a good result here. Djokovic has gone fastest, 18.316, half a second quicker than Samo. But say you're someone like an Nasi or a Djokovic or a BT or anyone really in need of a good result here, and you do something like that. That'd be absolutely appalling if you retired due to being on intermediate tires, losing control. Darren Styles heading towards the 120.326, puts him up to P6. It's not a representative session at all. This is a little bit like F1 testing. I'm not going to make any comments on anything throughout this session, really. I'm just going to be here sat doing absolutely nothing. So if anyone would like to join the commentary booth, just give me a heads up, because this is going to be an interesting one. And Padarang does want to join me on comms. I will send you an invite to an Xbox party, and hopefully the audio quality will hold up. If not, I'll kick you out. So then, hopefully we can get some good audio quality in. If we don't, then please let me know on stream immediately. That seems to be a recurring theme with Twitch and the Xbox parties for some reason. That whenever you bring someone into that party, the audio quality falls off an absolute cliff. So let's see if we can get Padarang into the commentary booth with us. Won't be the first time, but it'll be the first time for a long time that we've done this because of him crashing out early in qualifying. Sorry, Padarang, I just had to get that pun out there. Here is his teammate then, heading across the line to start his first flying lap of the session, if I'm not mistaken, on a set of medium tires, his hybrid 472K. Had a really good start to the season. Slowed down a little bit in the middle part of the season, though, especially through the European tours. Let's see if he can just start getting back up to speed as we're closing out Europe relatively soon. We got Spain and Belgium to go after the mid-season break that we're going on, because this is the last race before that mid-season break. before we head on to the Asian part of the season. That will wrap up at not Australia, Abu Dhabi. At the end of May, just as the new game is coming out. As we welcome to the commentary booth, Patarang 900. Welcome back, bud. Indeed, it's been a while since we had you here. What on earth was you thinking, crashing out early on in Q1 in a session like this as well? It is a tricky corner to get right. That is a very tricky corner to get right. Patrang, we can't hear you. You need to enable your audio being broadcast on stream as well. Yes. If you go into the party audio settings, you should be able to find it. Allow audio on stream. It is going to be under the party settings. Have I not opened up that? There we go, now it should be there. That was 100% my bad.
Audio, there we go.
There we go, as we're gonna do another attempt at this then. Yeah, we're gonna do another attempt at this then. Yeah. Welcome back to the commentary booth, Patarang 900.
It's good to be back, it's almost like I said this 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, a little awkwardness there. It's been a while since I had someone in the commentary booth with me. It was this time last season, approximately, that I had Danny with me and did this procedure, so it's been a little while. Patarang, what went on going through that again? Can you talk us through it?
Well, honestly, it was just a bit of a stupid thing. I was going through the second DRS zone, going around the back, straight onto just finishing sector finishing sector 1. Went a bit wide on entry, then kept this curb. Literally, like, wasn't in crawling pace. It was just enough to get me up to speed, and right tyre just clipped it. The rear just went nope and spun me into the barrier.
Sounds absolutely brilliant, and really pushing it for no reason here in Q1 as well. Did you realize that as you were heading into the barrier that this was really all for nothing as well? Because obviously it's a session Q1, 15 drivers on the grid fortnight. It's a session that's not necessary. We're seeing people retire now as well, so I wonder if it's the first time we're actually not going to finish Q1 because everyone's going to retire from it. But did you realize that as you were heading into the barrier, just thinking like, why on earth did I do this?
I just saw my whole new era, like, career just flashing from my eyes, like, for fuck's sake. No, for God's sake, even, like...
I've dropped a couple of those bombs on stream as well, it's absolutely fine.
Oh, honestly, I was just like, oh, just stupid, man. Just absolutely stupid. The curbs have got so much more brutal around the entirety. Like, the first sector's not actually that bad. It's more the second and third where they've, like, properly increased the curbs. It's just a bit wild, really.
Tell you what though, Beatty's decided to be an absolute daredevil for some reason, head out on a sort of wet tyre, so intermediates doesn't even cut it for this man.
Now are we going to see an intermediate wet weather masterclass from a BE then?
That'd be quite something. If he's able to beat Djokovic's 118.3 on a sort of wet tyres, I'll be incredibly impressed and incredibly frightened for what we've got coming up with the rest of the season.
It won't even matter if he has his tyre pressures down all the way to the absolute bottom. They will not improve. It will not beat Djokovic's tyre.
Nah, you can
already see on his outlap. He's already
he is struggling a little bit. His tyre's already going to be cooking. And it's one of these things that I don't really understand. Back when I was league racing, a long time ago, obviously you know this, this wasn't a thing back then. This really was not a thing back then, going out on intermediate tires, basically just for fun to try to save a soft tire or something. We went out on mediums or hards. Obviously we had the choice to basically go on whichever tire we wanted back then. So you just went out on a set of tire, got through Q1 because obviously back then you and I did, and that was it. But now it's just for some reason intermediate tires when it's a session or procession like this, and it is risking something quite unnecessarily, really. Djokovic's coming up to the
Yeah,
line. What's he going to be able to do on that set of medium? Is not going to be overly competitive. It's 120.583,
yeah,
and I
he's
think
just
that
probably
is
trying
a
to get track
worn set of
knowledge.
mediums. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just
just
using
a
up
bit of
the
track knowledge. Nothing
possible
too
advantage that
special.
it could get. Indeed, it's gonna be a weird one. This obviously now as well. The stakes for Q2 has massively gone down. No Lox is saying restart the stream that it's so awkward just because of the little mishap that we had with the audio, which
If that's all good, you haven't had our previous audios.
yeah, I'm willing to agree on that. Actually, you should have had season one streams though, back when I wasn't so fluent in English and everything. That was probably way more awkward. I found a couple of my first ever streams that I did commentary on. Actually, my goodness, they were appalling to listen to.
I just want to point out as well, from P9 all the way down to P13 is everyone's done a set of intermediates.
Indeed, that
Whereas, like, you
that
got
that is what I
ABT,
specified on it. It's
yeah.
like F1 testing, really. We're not going to find out anything through this Q1 session. Thankfully, we've only
Except you're
got a
not going
minute
to
and a
see
half to
people on
go.
inters on a dry track.
Well, I'm hoping we don't have the same situation in Q2, but it's a weird one. Obviously, now
I
only
think
three
people
people
must
are
be
going to be
tripping.
eliminated. Indeed,
People must be
only
tripping
three.
if they go out on a dry track on inters and the actual Q2, especially when a
Three
lot more's
people.
on the line.
Keep in mind, three people are going to be eliminated. At the moment, that'd be No Larks, Iwats, and Nasty Little Drips, and yourself obviously won't be allowed to participate due to terminal damage, which I
Yeah,
think is a bit
depends on
unfortunate, but I
rules.
do understand it. Yeah. But it is going to be a Q2 session as well. There's a little bit more on the weird side, but thankfully there'll be something to play for, unlike this session, which has just been an 18-minute practice session, and it's not really
Honestly,
been that because we've not had a lot of traffic
we've
out
only
really.
got like 53 seconds left, so we may as well have everyone retire in the pit lane and then just crack on again.
Well,
Or,
unfortunately, we've got a couple of people out on track that better just finish up
yeah, this is
their
it.
laps.
BT's on wets. And Djokovic's actually really closing up on him soon, I actually think. Yeah,
Indeed,
Djokovic's
this would be quite
closing
something
in.
if BT just loses control a little bit on the straight, trying to let Djokovic
See,
go.
that
We have a
right-hand
massive
curve where,
controversy.
where Djokovic just went through there is literally, looks small, but I tell you right now, it is a gnarly curve.
Indeed.
This one's
Now,
not too
let's
bad,
just see the
'cause you
close.
can
Ooh,
actually...
Djokovic with a little
Djokovic.
bit of a tank slapper coming out of turn 12 there. And once again, that's just something he had that
A
very
proper
much
Code
under
Brown.
control. He had that very much under control, it looked like. But that is one of those things. Is it really worth risking that just for some extra track
Honestly,
knowledge
no.
in Q1 like this? I don't reckon it is.
It's
Session
just
is over
laps.
and it's gonna come to an end very, very quickly. Djokovic crosses line in P1,
There we go.
BT in P3, and that says. I think that might be the most useless session of the season so far. We've not found out anything apart from the fact that Djokovic's quick once again.
Here we are, yeah, exactly so. Now, on to the proper sessions.
Indeed, hopefully, as we can see quite a lot of guys on the intermediates, but we're still going to give you a full rundown. Djokovic finishes session in P1 ahead of Samo Bamo by a little more than half a second. Then actually very close between him and JV8. Vister having a decent first session in NEF1 in P5 ahead of established names like Wigan, Hybrid and Darren. So that's a good performance. Undercheck, quick start of intermediate, runners ahead of Squidge, No Larks, Iwats and Nassi. Little Drips and Patarang here in the commentary booth with me, unable to get a time in. We'll see them again for the Grand Prix. We'll see Patarang in just a couple of moments as well as soon as he opens his mouth. But then,
Exactly.
very uninteresting Q1 session. Heading into Q2 then, what do you think is going to be the preferred run plan for most of the drivers? You have the driver's perspective really that I don't at the moment. Is it going to be probably just a 2-run soft, I would imagine?
This track is quite a high deg in all honesty, and the amount of corners there are. Like, the softs will be initially quite alright in the first in, but then again, they'll just drop off, so it's going to be a bit more like driver preference, really. It's one of those, if they are up the front, they're going to be more aggressive, probably with the softs. But if they're probably like P8 and down, they're probably going to go a bit more aggressive, going maybe on the mediums to try and outlast the soft runners. But like I say, anything can happen, anything can change. The hards I wouldn't see being the first one to go on because off the start they're just so incredibly hard to get going, especially on the warm up and the outlap. So we'll see what happens.
Indeed, obviously, this is something I really miss about these, especially during league racing. I didn't really like in actual Formula 1, but in league racing, I really miss the Q2 tire rule. I really, really miss the Q2 tire rule that they had. It's been removed from F1 for a couple of seasons now, but basically it used to be whichever
Second season
tire.
now.
I think it's the third season even. But the rule used to be, if you're not familiar, that whatever tire you qualified inside the top 10 for in Q2, that's the exact tire that you had to start the race on. So you would see guys, especially at the front in real life F1, like the Mercedes at the time or the Red Bulls, give it a go on the medium tires for Q2. Every now and again, it'd fail miserably, and you'd see usually Valtteri Bottas go out in Q1. Oh, sorry, Q2, which was really interesting, actually.
Indeed. As we've got Nolarx, the first one out in pits as well. Just making his way around into the second sector now.
Indeed, a little bit of a train then coming up behind him. That is a Haas leading that train, JV8. I think it's followed by a McLaren, Red Bull, maybe a Williams and an Alpine as well. So quite a lot of people coming out early here. A couple of people still staying in the pit lane. That is Djokovic, Samo, BT and Darren.
This is where it's going to get interesting because now a lot of drivers are going to have like three sets of softs already going to Q2, which is quite rare to normally have. Normally, we'll get rid of one set of softs, and on the odd occasion, maybe even two. So I think we'll be prepared to see a fair few runs.
Indeed, hopefully there's going to be quite a bit of running, and obviously now quite a lot of chances to grab a surprise Q3 for a couple of these guys that are not really used to being able to compete for Q3, usually Q2, but Q3 relatively locked in NEF1 right now at the moment with the amount of fast guys that we have. So may we see someone like a JV8, may we see someone like a Darren Stahl be able to pop their head into Q3, may we see a Vister being able to pop into Q3 on his debut here. We'll wait and see. The names, yeah, exactly. The names we're expecting in Q3, must be said, is Ondřejek, Nasi, and Djokovic. Those are going to be the guarantees, probably along with a BT and I dare say Squidge. Are the 5, for me, guarantees into Q3. But obviously anything can still happen. On board with no locks at the moment.
Just going through the final bit of Sector 1 now. He's had quite a clean Sector 1, to be fair. I would like to say he's not fully on the limit yet. We just want to get a nice lap in. Bit wide on the entry there, just a little bit compromise yourself. Honestly, something like that leaves you like 2 tenths. It's crazy.
Indeed, heading into turn 12 now, and this is a really awkward corner after the reprofiling. Can't touch the inside red sausage curb there, it'll send you absolutely flying. But then this part is actually really nice. They've opened up this sweeping left-hander, and now heading into the last corner, very easy to lose the rear here if you get the power down too early. You have to be really careful on it. That is sublimely taken by No Larks. Heading up to the line is going to be a 1:18.863. Not the fastest lap we've seen so far, but it would be enough for P2 come Q1 time.
I think it's more he's going to get banker in and then go from there, I reckon. That's my guess, but either way, he's still the time of the balls.
Indeed, Ondřejek at the moment is coming round turn 9, turn 10 as well, heading into the same sector 3 that we just saw No Larks go through. And Ondřejek, this is going to be a lap that really sets the pace.
Yeah,
for
he's
everyone.
purple sector 2 as well, so we'll soon see.
Indeed, that
would be purple for him, there is a bit of traffic coming, so I hope they all get out of the way.
Indeed, 17.9 for Squidge, followed by a 26.6 for JV8, so quite bigger gaps. Nasi with 17.931. Ondřejek needs to be in that 17.9 area, and he absolutely is.
As it goes straight to 77.
Indeed, there's a good lap from Ondřejek. Puts him on provisional pole position in Q2, mind you, so nothing really to play for in terms of position yet, unless you're in the bottom 3.
Already, Squid and Natty only less than 300ths of a second between each other. Already the first part of Q2 here.
Incredibly close. Natty, we know, is rather handy around this place. He is suffering illness today, if I'm not mistaken, though, so that could compromise him a little bit. Perhaps we'll wait and see. Squidge is also a driver that's really coming to his own in this league. Had a decent season last year out, but just taking that additional step up this year. Hopefully we can see him at his absolute best here in Australia tonight. Vister as well, NEF1 debutant, currently on an outlap. We'll keep an eye on his progress. At the moment, Iwatts and a BT are the drivers we're following on their fast laps.
Yeah,
Iwatts just heading into the chicane.
Oh, crikey. Just on board Visitor there, got a bit out of sorts then, going through the final sector to start his lap. Wasn't the easiest way of doing that, really lit up the rear, but here we go then.
Unfortunate. A BT van coming around the final two corners. See what he's going to be able to do. Coming across the pit lane entry there. And DRS is enabled. Is going to be able to shoot up into the top 5. An 18.4 on a set of mediums. Decent time, but convert that into a set of softs. It's approximately half second off. He's not going to be near pole position, really. Indeed it is, but I reckon that's going to set him about where Nasi is right now. Keep in mind, this is not one of those tracks that's really going to benefit you on a set of soft tires. It is going to benefit you, but it's not going to be a massive discrepancy on it.
I'm not too sure what's going on with visitors right now. I'm on board with him right now, and his steering wheel's going absolutely wild.
I reckon that is just some weird way of trying to heat up the tires a little bit.
Well, he's on his hot laps, that's why I'm a bit confused.
Is he on pace for a hot lap then?
I'll be honest, no, he's a little bit off because of the amount of steering wheel movement input, but I will be surprised on what he does next, or if it is just a long out lap, I don't know.
Oh, and that is a lap time for you. 1:17.425 from Djokovic. He has said hello and goodbye once again. Vister goes straight up into the top 6, 18.545. Very, very close to a BT. It's a bit curious, that steering wheel movement from Vista. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it's not just me. Yeah, literally. I'm really worried for the race, because if you go in a race and you've got someone doing that, the last thing you want is an incident.
Indeed, I'm just monitoring hybrid at the moment. It looked for a moment like he was doing the same thing, but that is very purposeful weaving from hybrid.
Oh no, that's different. That's steering wheel input. Yeah.
Indeed. It's a bit curious. We'll keep an eye on it. JV8 at the moment out on an outlap. He needs to be, because he is at the moment the first driver to be eliminated from this session. 1:26.614. Which obviously isn't a competitive lap time. It's not been a representative lap from JV8. That he'll have to go again, and he's going to improve on that effort.
Likewise,
right now,
Watson, Wigan, and No Larks. A lot of people already quite similar in the drop zone. Not separated by much, literally from P9 all the way up into even up to ABT and P5. Only separated by literally less than 5/10. So all is playable still.
Indeed, BT is going to have to come out again. I reckon the only driver at the moment safe is Nasi, really, in P4. 17.931. I don't reckon he'll have to come out again. Might just want to, though, to get another feel for the track ahead of
Hybrid's
Q3.
just gone purple in Sector 1. Go on, Hybrid. Do us proud.
As I need to hand out an invite, apparently, as well. Hold on.
I'll take over for a moment as we got Hybrid going in through the first into the second sector now. Took a very nice line through there. A little bit tentative, but sometimes there is absolutely well rewarded.
Indeed, heading into turn 12. Tricky braking zone on that inside, nice. Perfectly on the outside curb. That actually, it's a harsh outside curb around that corner. It's a very harsh outside curb. You don't really want to touch it. And now then, easy to lose the rear through this final corner, manages to deal with it perfectly. That's a good lap. Is it going to be good enough for top 5? It's not really. It's good enough for P7. He'll have to go again with that effort. He'll have to go again. 6.5 minutes remaining, so he has the time. But that is not a lap time that's going to see him comfortably through into Q3, as he would have been hoping for. But a weekend like this, I reckon someone like Hybrid could benefit massively of a weekend like this as well.
So both McLarens have just come out as well, both Nasi and ABT. So we'll see what times they can do. Obviously, ABT on the mediums previously to Nasi on the soft. So it's going to be curious to see what competitive lap times they both can do.
Indeed, Nasi, we're probably expecting him to improve by a couple of tenths perhaps. ABT definitely, I'd say, half a second straight.
Well, this is it. He may have been running a higher fuel mode. That's probably why he's going again to set more representative time to maybe hopefully close on Andrzejczyk and Djokovic. So.
Could be. Worth pointing out, JV8 at the moment on a really, haven't set a really good lap, but that's a 1:18.786 from the brick.
Yeah, activated his DRS, looks like.
Yeah, he's on a cooldown lap at the moment. JV8 just finished his flying lap, 1:18.786. That is good enough for a top 10 finish for the time being. No Larks, though, is coming up to the line just now. He's improving by about 2/10. Let's see what he's going to be able to do, and it's going to be up to P6, 1:18.488 for No Larks. And that pushes JV8 back down to P9.
All the way down to the drop zone for Zamo. It's still going to be really close. It's going to be hairline come the end of this qualifying session.
Indeed, it is. Sam Obama obviously suffering from a couple of technical issues here early on in Q2 as well, which is going to cost him his chance for 2 runs perhaps, unless he gets this one done really quickly. So he needs a good run here, not going to be able to set a bank lap. Noel Larks then is probably finished with his second run of the session. He'll have one more go at this. 118.488, not far off Beatty's time, that. Let's see what
Nassi
Nassi's
has
going to
invalidated
be.
his lap time.
Indeed, just
Going
so,
around
and
the first
Beatty's
sector.
now not really picking up the toe from Noel Larks that he could have, but it's gracious of Noel Larks to offer up that kind of a toe in a session like this.
Oh, BT!
That is a bit hairy from BT, that
So
just backing out.
it's so easy to do it through there. The
Indeed,
rear just
just
wants to step out every single time.
indeed, that is really good awareness from BTvo, realizing what was about to happen and being able to back out before that. Just started to
that's what I
slam on the
should have
brakes
done.
through the corner. Yeah. That is routine from a BT. Sorry, BT, I've got to do it again. He has a lot of routine crashing, a BT, so he should know by now how to avoid it. Sorry, that is the last time this session. That is the last time
at least
for
one
this
time
evening.
extreme for BT's in the hit and run.
Yep,
He really is.
yeah, he's usually subject of
As
most
Wigan
of my
is just purple
violations.
sector 1 as well.
That is
sector
purple to his best lap time and not the session best lap time, if I'm not
See,
mistaken.
this is why you're the commentator and I'm the racing driver. Or try
Probably
to
so.
at
I've been
least.
doing this for a couple of years now. Every single
Exactly
race
so.
for the last 4 calendar years in NEF1, basically.
Or
Wigan
as
71 then
Wigan
coming
almost
round
did
the
same
chicane
thing
and
as
heading
what
into...
BT did then.
Indeed, heading into turn 12 now. Is he able to get the car slowed down? Just barely. Touches the inside curve a little bit, but he does have an awkward exit there.
He's backed out of
And
it.
Indeed, that wasn't a lap that's really going to count for anything,
He
but
messed
just
up his
back
entry a
out.
little bit into that.
Indeed, let's see how he's fueled his car. Is it going straight into the pit lane or is he going again?
No,
Because
he's
he
going
does
straight
need
back
a
out
little
again.
bit. No, it's not. He's going to
He's
go
gonna
for
have a
one
cool down
cool
and go
lap.
again.
Indeed, he's fueled his car for 2
Yeah, he
laps.
knows
Clever to
if-
do in this
if he
stage
does-
of the session.
Especially because if he pits now, he probably won't have another chance to get back round on his that lap.
Exactly. Djokovic then out on an outlap along with Ondrejek, and we're still waiting for the emergence of Squidge, Nassi, and BT. Reckon those come out again? I don't think Nassi or Squidge will. BT definitely is.
We're waiting for Zama as well. Zama's still without a time on the board just yet.
Indeed, he
So
needs to come
we
out
may
now
even
if he
have
wants to
to
get a
get
lap in.
Yeah, it is a long outlap, so it's gonna be dire really.
Indeed. We are going to keep our eyes on the front, guys, as well, but the battle now comes down to this. It is JV8, Darren, Wigan, and Iwatts currently in the battle for those last places inside the top 10. JV8 on 118.786, Darren just 1/100th of a second behind him. Wigan 71 is in P11 on 18.974. Samo has missed the opportunity probably to
No, he's
come up for a run
invalidated.
here.
He invalidated the exit of turn 2, well, through turn 1 and the exit out wide.
Samo is
literally.
Samo is not out on the track, mate.
No, sorry, I mean hybrid. Sorry. Just clipped
Hybrid
the outside of turn
472.
1 and
Okay.
invalidated.
That could
The
prove
hybrid-
troublesome. We'll have a look at that. JV8 at the moment,
Oh.
currently out on a fast lap. Going through Sector 1, just through Sector 2. Not improving at the moment. He needs to be improving. He needs to be getting past Visitor and Hybrid on this run to really cement his place in Q3. Darren and Wigan hungry behind. Wigan has just started flying lap. Don't forget about Iwatts in this equation as well. Has just maybe... He's backed out of it. Iwatts is out of this session with that little bit of a cock-up after turn 1. That is Iwatts out of the running here. He's not going to be able to get around again. That's Iwatts out. We can forget about him during this
hybrid,
little battle here.
thankfully, is
Darren Stahl
just
has
safer,
improved
has
up to
guaranteed it.
P8.
So here we go then. Wigan is now do or die. If he gets his lap done now, he will take JV8's place unless JV8. Oh, JV8 spun! He spun out
JV8
the corner.
Oh, JV8 just cooking it a little
Wigan
bit.
just
But
has to improve.
keep this in
by that
mind,
small hundredth.
30 seconds to go. He's not in a awful place at the moment, but is he coming into the pit lane? Yes, he is.
Pit lane, straight in
JV8
the pit lane.
could be out here. Wigan 71 coming across the final chicane. Is he going to be able to get this done? Heading into turn 12 now. We're coming up to a sector split as well. We're going to be able to find out what kind of time he's on. No, because they moved the
That's
sector
way
split
better.
to before the chicane. Very decent line that from Wigan. That is going to be an improvement, but
he's done it.
reckon so. We'll have to wait and see. Through the last corner, this is where JV8 maybe messed up his chances. of a Q3 appearance here. DRS is open for Wigan 71. He is coming up to the line. Is he going to be able to do it? It's going to be close, but yes, he does. Up to P8 for Wigan 71, and that is Q3 secured, and that is heartbreak for JV8, just with a little bit of an error, and look at how close he was. Hybrid, not I don't think he's going to improve on this lap by the look of things. He doesn't have to anymore.
Safe anyway.
Indeed, but JV8 there, if you take Hybrid's lap that he's currently on out of the equation, separated by 0.06 of a second. That is heartbreak for JV8, but it is showing a very, very decent amount of pace. It is showing a very decent amount of pace here.
As Hybrid goes straight to P6 from that lap.
So indeed, that's a good lap from Hybrid.
Made it count when he could. Very much so.
Indeed, Nassi out on the lap as well, worth keeping an eye on. Coming up to the line, and fastest out of anyone goes Nassi, 117.332, and we are getting something for Q3. This is going to be an interesting session to watch and commentate on, because that front three is incredibly close, I reckon, once it's going to come to it. But Nassi at the moment has the advantage. He has P1 for Q2.
I've just got a message from Zama. I think he needs an invite.
I will sort that in just a little bit. Just going through your top 10 then. JV8, Iwatts and Sam Obama eliminated at the end of that session. We have Nasia in P1, followed by Djokovic in P2, Undercheck in P3, followed by Beat in P4, and Squidge in P5. Very good qualifying performance from Hybrid 472 Keva with that P6. If he's able to convert that into a result during the Grand Prix, he will be one happy boy. Nolarks in P7, that's a decent result. Vister through into Q3 on his first NEF1 appearance. He is followed by the two Swedes in Red Bull of Wigan and Darren Stahl in P9 and P10. And look at the gap between Darren and JV8. Not a big one indeed. Less than a tenth of a second. That is going to be so frustrating for JV8. Not being able to get through there, but he is getting ever closer. A couple of points on the board already this season. Tied on points with Darren Stahl.
Honestly, this is one of the most bizarrest qualifying sessions that's occurred, I think, throughout the start of this season.
Indeed, it is a little bit of a weirder one, but now we're getting into this straight type of qualifying, where now whomever's fastest at the end of this wins, basically, and that's just not now.
Well, bear in mind,
gloves are going to come off.
Safety cars, which is probably going to be guaranteed in this race coming up.
There's never a really good time. Yes. For some reason, Samo, I can't find you on my list as well to give you an invite back, which is a bit odd. I have seen your message in the Discord, though.
Yeah, I've seen that too as well, to be honest. As already at the pit lane, Squidge is first to come out the pit lane, which will be followed by soonly Nolarks, as he's near the exit of it now. So, this is what's going to matter.
Indeed, we've seen this from Squidge before. He does enjoy getting out there early. Obviously, it does give him the privilege of having his lap shown. I don't think he cares too much about that, really.
I think it's more about getting space on the track and just making
sure getting space out on the track. I like doing this as well. Just having the confidence to go around there first. I don't know what it was about it, but it was just a nice feeling. Not having anyone ahead of you, you can focus solely on you and what's ahead. You don't have to focus on anyone coming up behind or really who's ahead either, because there's not going to be anyone. You just get a feeling of having the track to yourself, which I quite enjoyed. And obviously being first out on track is just some sort of a statement as well. So it's a bit of an interesting one. But Squidge does enjoy having that role.
Exactly. It's all about getting in the drivers' heads. If you're the first one on track, at least that's what happens in real life for myself. Or at least when you leave a practice session, for example, and you leave the first one and just trying to assert the dominance from the get-go. How the Squidge comes around the final corner now to start his lap.
Indeed, this is going to be an interesting one then. Round Albert Park with Squidge 2017. I'm going to mute myself and go on board with Squidge. See if we can get a proper hot lap here around Albert Park for the first time this session. As here we go then, round the final corner with Squidge 2017. It's been a very, very solid lap from him so far. Where's it going to place him on the grid?
Lap.
We need a low 18 here, and it's even better. It's a 117.693. Mighty lap that from Squidge. Not going to be good enough for pole position, but it is there or thereabout. No loss with a 118 flat, and now things are going to start happening quite quickly. We've got a Red Bull coming up to the line. That is not Wigan, that is Darren Stiles starting his flying lap. Then we have one of the McLarens coming around.
And that is goes fastest.
Indeed, Nasivo is coming up to the line. He went fastest in Q2. He's going to be able to challenge Undercheck here. Yes, he does, by about a tenth of a second. Exactly a tenth of a second. Nasi grabs provisional pole position. Where's Djokovic in all of this? He is going round Sector 2 on an invalidated lap, mind you. He'll have to go again. Unfortunate that from Djokovic. It's going to mess up the flow of his session somewhat. Hybrid's coming up in Sector 3. What's he going to be able to do? Also a very decent performance in Q2. Not potentially going to challenge for pole position, but very much around the squidge mark, perhaps, if not quite comfortably ahead of no lights.
That second to last corner as he spun.
Oh, nicely held that from Hybrid. Unfortunate, but that is a beautiful piece of car control from your beloved teammate there, and I'm sure you're quite happy with that effort then.
I mean, he's in Q3. I mean, he's been better than what I've done, so it's all good.
The 124.490, that is not a representative lap time. I'll have to go again. Darren Style, non-representative run, but Beatty's just about to start one.
Indeed. And takes turn one quite nice, really on the limit there. You can be careful lining up the tyres on that Astro turf.
Indeed, Darren, I believe, has had an issue coming out of the last corner. He's going to be starting to race in P10. That is a car parked on the track that's now been despawned, but that's unfortunate from Darren.
Indeed, as a BT seems to go purple, but obviously, is that just the purple sector just in general, or is that his purple?
That is his purple.
Right. Well,
that is his
let's
purple.
hope. Maybe, who knows, maybe it might be a purple lap.
Indeed, it's looking like a good lap this from ABT. Coming up to the Sector 2 split, then it's a short Sector 2 really, 44.672. It's a decent time. Now, beautiful on the curve there. Indeed, heading into this now very, very tricky right-hander of turn 12. That looked not spot on, but the line wasn't too far from.
Leaving no room for error.
Indeed, really doesn't. Will have lost a little bit of time with that tank slap run coming out of turn 12 though. Through the last corner, is he going to be able to sort this out? Yes, he is. Now onto the line. Could be there or thereabouts. What is it going to be? P4 for ABT, 17.771. Yeah, very close to Squidge 2017 there, but at least 2 attempts in that, just off the couple of small mistakes there were through turn 9 and turn 10, and then obviously the main one through turn 12. Vistra and Djokovic then with alternate run plans now after their unfortunate endeavours in Q.
Yeah, they're going to be going close though. It's going to be a bit fine for it to get a second lap in, mind.
Djokovic is going to be
5.5 minutes.
Djokovic is going to be very pressed to make it past ABT here. If he ends up behind ABT in this qualifying session, he is going to have a race of nightmares. Overtaking around his place, very much possible, but not a guarantee. Keep in mind, the championship battle is starting to heat up. BT will know that, Nasi will know that, Ondrejek will know that, Djokovic will definitely know that. We're at the halfway point now. We've seen these team games play out over the course of the season already. We've seen it with Nolox and Matti. We've seen it with Squidge and Spenklos, obviously, in France. They gave Nasi the absolute nightmare of a time that he had around there. Now, Djokovic, he needs to split these two McLarens, if not beat both of them. Through turn 1 then, and not getting good run in already. Djokovic is now very much under pressure because that is yet another invalidated lap. I hope he's fueled for 2 laps because he'll need to be.
Has gone off the roads. But that second sector and just came out the barriers.
And this is what happens when you just mess up that first run a little bit. You start stressing. You allow those small mistakes to just start creeping in, and that is going to compromise your session so much.
Get some fresher softs on and just try your best to get some more laps out.
Vistra has the time for it. I reckon so does Djokovic if he hurries it back.
This has just been a fascinating qualifying session. All the things that happened, I could not put my money on this, especially with me being sat with you right now.
It is. I'm just looking for the comments that we've had so far. Both JV8 and Jace not happy with their laps in Q2 whatsoever, and obviously those laps were the ones that saw them out of qualifying as well. Along at the moment with a BT saying it was a really scruffy lap, that 117.7 that is currently on. Everything is going to kick off at the same time here, so this is going to be a hectic end to Q3. Nasi, Undercheck, Squidge, BT and Djokovic. I reckon they're all going to come out at about the same time. Djokovic is going to go again.
Now he's either going to have to get this one lap in. He might just have one lap to do it.
He's forced to. He's forced to go on this run. He won't have time to do another run. This is the lap that counts for Djokovic then, and it's a scruffy turn one already. Djokovic, guys, the championship leader, well and truly under pressure. It's a scruffy turn one. I reckon he made a mistake not coming in.
Hard to say.
It's flat through the sweeping right-hander. Now down to 5th gear probably for this next one, and that's a beautiful curb. And now it is flat out running before the turn 9-10 chicane. He needs to nail that chicane if he wants to make anything of that lap after turn 1. He'll be a tempo 2 down already. Absolutely. Indeed. I reckon it's out of contention for pole position already, but it's not been a good run. Djokovic, guys, might not be able to get a lap time in here. That depends on how he's fueled his car. Indeed.
Very much. Because he can't do another lap now, because his tyres, one are going to be dirty, and they've already done 2 laps, including 3 laps, including an out lap.
Djokovic is under massive pressure here. Right now, just spun on the curb. Indeed, right now as well, everyone is starting to come out. Nasty, Undercheck, Squidge and a BT. They're obviously going to be listening to the race broadcast as well, realising what is going on for Djokovic. This is now a straight fight for pole position. Nasty probably versus Undercheck. BT, he has a lot of improving to do. See if he's going to be able to do it. Same for Squidge. But Nasty and Undercheck at the moment favourites for pole position. Djokovic is in a real fifth.
I can't believe what I'm witnessing. This has been such a bizarre qualifying session. If the race is anything like this, you're in for a treat tonight, honestly.
Indeed, I will be.
Me on a podium, imagine that. That'd be wild.
Indeed, it would. Have you been on an NEF1 podium before? You have a couple of times, haven't you?
I have a couple of times. I've never got that win just yet, but who knows? With the grid like it is, it's going to be a challenge just to do that. Everyone's so quick and consistent. It's just bizarre.
It is getting quicker and quicker at the moment.
Squidge 2017 again, though.
Yeah, well, he needs to. He's desperate.
Yeah.
He's desperate at the moment. That is lap over for Squidge. Now, hurry it back to the line, go again. He has the time to, but it can't really slow down. But Squidge, this is good driver awareness, actually, because what I can see from this, the first thing he did, I believe, was switch off his ERS.
Yeah, 100%. ERS around here is crucial. You need that extra deployment going off the corners.
Here we go, then. This is the point where I actually cut you off, because now the battle for pole position is well and truly on. Undercheck at the moment, going through Sector 1. He needs to improve by just over a tenth of a second to take Nasi off that provisional P1 slot. Djokovic out on another run. He is forced to make this work. He has not had a good session whatsoever. He's on a 49.480, but he is improving through the second sector. But the question is, how far are those worn soft tires going to be able to get him? He's only going to have one go to do it on. Nasi started flying lap as well, so has Squidge just now then. And this is where it counts. Djokovic is going to come across the line. Where is he going to place the car? That is still a decent lap from Djokovic. P4, 17.699, but can't quite beat Squidge. Here we go. BT, Squidge, Undercheck, and Nasi. Undercheck is improving, so is Nasi. Bit of a scruffy exit there from Undercheck coming out of turn 12. How much has that cost him? Through the final sector now for the last 2 corners. Undercheck through the last one. Quite late on the upshifts, actually, going through a majority of the last corner in 4th. Now, is going to be able to take provisional P1? Yes, he is. 17.109, but Nasi is not going to be able to beat that. Nasi is out of the running for pole position here with that mistake. Now, hope lies on a BT for the McLaren team, P5, and he is currently improving, but he has someone ahead of him. Is that his teammate? Yes, it is. And is that going to give him dirty air, or is it going to give him a launch down the straight? It is going to give him quite a decent tow, I reckon. But is it going to be enough for BT? No, but he gets close to his own teammate.
Really did improve. That tow was all that's needed.
Indeed, Squidge is coming up to the line as well. It's not going to be good enough for pole position. It is good enough for P4. Djokovic, P5, and that is a disappointing result. But it's not a bad one looking at who he has ahead of him. Ondratech, Nasi, Beatty and Squidge, four incredibly competent drivers, but it has got to feel like a missed opportunity for Djokovic, that with a 17.7 basically.
The race is long as well. 29 laps of solid racing, a load of massive curbs, probably a couple of safety cars. It's all going to happen.
It is all very much to play for, but what we can establish here, Ondratech has the advantage heading into the race. He starts on pole position. It's a short run down into turn one. See if he's going to be able to keep the lead. Ondratech is in a league of his own at the moment, but we've seen this face previously from both Nasi and Djokovic early on in the season. Now it's Ondratech's turn. Who's going to be able to dethrone him? We'll wait and see if it happens tonight.
Well, Ondratech's going to have a bit of an interesting time when he's behind him. He's got two McLarens just sat next to him in a little sandwich there, with Squidge in fourth to Djokovic P5. It's going to be an interesting race, mate. It really will be, and I'm looking forward to even participating. I'm waiting forward to seeing all the chaos from the rear view ones.
Indeed, it is going to be a really, really fun one to watch this. But Ondratech, followed by two McLarens, a Williams and a Ferrari. That is your top five, followed by No Larks Hybrid, Wigan, Vista in P9 on his debut, and Darren Stahl unable to get a lap in Q3. That is your starting order for the Australian Grand Prix. Thank you very much, Patarang, for joining me in the commentary box, and best of luck to you for the Grand Prix that is to come.
Well, if there's anything like my qualifying, you may find me back quite quickly.
Well, we'll see how it all ensues, won't we?
I'd hope to say not, but yeah.
We'll wait and see how it goes, mate. We'll wait and see how it goes. But thank you very much for participating on commentary for this qualifying session. We'll see. Let's just say this. We hope to not be speaking to you anymore this afternoon.
Absolutely. All right. See you in a bit.
Indeed. Have a good one. Good luck.
Thank you.
So then, guys, that is your starting order there in front of you for the Australian Grand Prix. Ondratech, Nasi and Beatty is your top three, followed by Squidge and Djokovic. Crucially, though, for the Constructors' Championship, McLaren is having a really, really good time at the moment. Beatty has found the level of form that we expect from him, and obviously Nasi is just Nasi. It's an absolutely brilliant driver. So now we're going to be going to a couple of minutes worth of break before we get this race underway. So then I will be disappearing for just a couple of minutes, rest my voice and have a drink of water. I've been speaking for quite a bit, and I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes for full coverage of the Australian Grand Prix here in NEF1. Don't go anywhere because the action's just about to start. So then everyone, a little bit of a game going on in the Twitch as well. I've just started a prediction that I'd like everyone to participate in, if you will. And it is a prediction of who is going to win this race. Will it be Undercheck? Will it be Nasi? Will it be BT? Or will it be someone else? So the top three as the obvious contenders for the Grand Prix win here. So please take part, get the opportunity to win a couple of challenge points, or to win a couple of channel points, and obviously the bragging rights of being the best predictor in NEF1 as well. As we're just waiting for a little bit longer before we get this race underway. 29 laps of Australia is coming up rather shortly. It is going to be a very interesting one indeed. We're going to have a look at strategies potentially in a little bit as well. But I reckon it's going to be a relatively straightforward, medium to hard. I don't think there's going to be too much in it, but we'll wait and see. I was looking at the YouTube comments as well. I'm sorry, Play Green Gaming, for not responding to you. We are live on Twitch as well, which is the chat I primarily look at during the broadcast. But glad to have you here. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. As I can announce, we are going to get this race going in about 30 seconds as well. The Grand Prix is set to start rather soon. 29 laps worth of racing around Australia will commence here, and this is going to be a really, really interesting one. Obviously, I had Padrang in the combox earlier with us, gave us a little bit of a driver's perspective, but gloves will come off rather soon. We'll see who is most thick-skinned, I reckon, in this race, because there's going to be overtakes all over the place. It's going to be relatively hard to defend, I reckon. We'll wait and see what goes on. This is going to be a really, really interesting one. So when just waiting for that initial light to come on, Undercheck takes the started formation lap from Nasi and a BT. Straight medium tires for the top three, and we'll have a look at the tires for everyone. It's a lot of medium, followed by a alternate strategy there from Djokovic on a set of hard tires, actually. That's interesting. Then we got a couple of the guys further back, Iwat, Samo and Padrang, electing to start on the soft. I reckon they're hoping for an early safety car, which isn't a bad bet around this place. We'll wait and see. This is a configuration that really does... This is a configuration which really does warrant mistakes every now and again. So we'll wait and see if we do end up having any safety car. Play Green Gaming as well. If you are interested in joining NEF1, please go onto our Twitch channel called New Era Esports, same as here on YouTube. There is a link there that'll take you straight to the sign-up screen for NEF1. So if you do want to partake in this, go over to our Twitch, have a look at the tags that is on there. There'll be one called Join New Era Esport. It'll take you straight to our Discord channel as well. And eligible to sign up. We do allow some assists as well, so you don't need to practice without all of them. We do allow some assists, so make sure to send in your application and we'll go through it. We're always looking for new drivers, so if you're interested, let us know. That applies to anyone wanting to take part in this as well. But then the formation lap is coming to a close. Ondercheck is about to line up on the grid. It's going to be a relatively straightforward strategy by the look of things. Medium to hards. Nasi in P2, followed by BT in P3, Squidge and Djokovic, P4 and P5, followed by Nolarks in P6, Hybrid, Wigan, Vister and Darren is your top 10. Keep in mind, Vister and Undercheck raising his reserves. Points will not go towards their elected teams, but we'll deal with that at a later date. Thank you, Play Green. I will make sure to add you on Discord after the event has concluded. As here we go then, the red lights are coming on for the start of the Australian Grand Prix. We got 5 red lights here in Australia. And it's lights out, and not away we go once again. It's gonna wait a little bit of time. There we go. Race is underway, and Undercheck gets a decent start. Nasty gets a well better one on the second phase of the start. Is he gonna take the lead here in turn one? It's gonna be very close between Undercheck. Undercheck has to go off track to defend that move. Oh, might be a bit dodgy, but it's turn one, lap one. We might look at it after the race, but not now. Nasty has the inside for turn three. Is he gonna be able to make something of it? No, he can't. Undercheck defends turn one, then heading into the first lap. Nasty in P2 with a BT in P3. No Larks and Djokovic. Sam Obama's retired from this session. I don't know what is going on. JV8's had a little bit of a scruffy one early on here. Padaranks made up quite a couple of positions at the start, but relatively calm. Djokovic is round the back of No Larks, having made up 2 positions as well. Let's see if he can make a move into the chicane potentially. Djokovic is going to be on the move, but he's starting on that hard tire. And Nasty's taking the lead away from Undercheck as well, heading into the chicane. That move is done. Djokovic now getting the move done on No Larks as well. He's up into P4. Nasty and Undercheck then heading into what would be turn 12. And now this is interesting. Undercheck stuck in a McLaren sandwich. Nasty said he wasn't feeling well ahead of this race. Well, that doesn't really seem to be causing him too many issues at the moment. He's driving absolutely brilliantly. Nasty in the lead of the Grand Prix after lap 1. Then he's followed by Undercheck, BT, Djokovic, and No Larks inside the top 5. No one had a really bad start. Vister down a couple of places, so was Jay. Samabamo out early here in Australia, I think with game issues potentially. Squidge 2017 very close to the back of No Larks. Then he's gonna send one down the inside. No Alex better of it, but gets very close to a Red Bull off Wigan 71 there behind him. So does Hybrid. Iwatts having made his way up into the top 10 as well. Well and truly in contention for some decent points here for Alpine. Oh, Hybrid now very much involved in a little scrap with Wigan. This one well might go down into the chicane. Hybrid's going to power his way past Wigan 71. Not much Wigan's going to be able to do about that one. DRS not enabled yet. Will be enabled this time next lap. But there we go then. Hybrid up at P7. Oh, that could have been a massive one. Thankfully, we have ghosting on in this league because Hybrid is the first to be claimed by that chicane. And that was so close to Wigan. Now, that is going to compromise Hybrid's race a lot. Thankfully able to keep it out of the wall there, but oh, how close was that to Wigan 71, and how lucky should Wigan consider himself? Undercheck now very close between him, AVT, and Nasty. Separated by half a second out of the top 3. Djokovic right there as well, having a little look down the inside of BT maybe to just thinks better of it yet, but he's on that hard tire that is going to be in a little bit of a different operating window. So the top 3 remains unchanged. Squidge and Wigan, P6 and P7, followed by Iwatts in P8, Padarang in P9, and Darren in P10. And a little bit of movement. Squidge going around the outside of No Larks, heading into the chicane. Nothing No Larks going to be able to do to defend that one. DRS has been enabled now, and that's going to change the complexity of this race quite a bit, because here goes Undercheck on the race leader, but he's not quite close enough yet. And we know Undercheck likes setting up these moves for a couple of laps before he can get it slam dunk done. Very good at racing Undercheck in that kind of way. Doesn't really want to go wheel to wheel with anyone, it seems. Wants to have the move done before he even completes it. Here we go then. Helicopter cam, chase cam, absolutely beautiful. Is he going to go for a move down to turn 1? No. Doesn't even try to. Maybe into turn 3 though. Through turn 1 and 2. Nicely executed. Following through nicely, and now heading into turn 3. Not really pushing for it. BT is very much with these two as well. And that's the thing, they can't really get caught racing wheel to wheel, because BT is going to be right there to take anything away from it as well. Djokovic at the moment in P4, about a second behind. Crucial for him to not lose track of that 1 second, as he has done now. needs to keep that DRS open, and Undercheck has gone past Nasi easily there, heading into the chicane actually. I was not expecting that heading into that corner. So I'm very sorry, Undercheck. There we go then, news race leader once again on lap 4 out of 29. I have a feeling that's not the last time the race lead is going to switch hands. Undercheck will be hard pressed to try to break away from Nasi on this lap though. Yellow flags through sector 3. I believe that might have been an issue for... could have been hybrid perhaps? Maybe. Undercheck then, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and is almost shaking a second to Nasi already. Beautiful racecraft that from Undercheck. Gets past and using up quite a bit, I think, to try to just break free of Nasi 31. He beat his right there now, but we're starting to see a couple of gaps for Squidge. Makes it round the outside of Djokovic. And that's why I said Djokovic really couldn't afford to lose DRS of a beatie, because it left him vulnerable immediately. Aaron saying P1 Verstappen in the YouTube chat. Let's not have any Verstappen references in chat. We had a very, very nice Grand Prix a couple of hours ago without Max Verstappen in it. It was won by a Ferrari. I don't think we're going to have a Red Bull winning in this Australian Grand Prix either, which is absolutely splendid. We might have an Alpine or a McLaren contending for the win though. As there we go then, now a full second of a gap has been created between Undercheck and Nasi. 31 beat is right there along with him with Squidge and Djokovic. No real big gaps inside the top 5 at the moment. Then there's a little bit of a gap. Actually, hold on, Padarang 9 positions up on the start here, and he had an awful time in qualifying. Crashed out basically the first thing he did, but he's having a handy little race so far. He's having a very handy little race so far, is Padarang 900. He's having a quiet race, which is usually the best way to race. Wiggins 71 then maybe goes for a move down inside in turn 1. Yes, he does, and he has that move done before they get to the braking zone. Wiggins up at P6, but he just goes a little bit wide. Padarang for some reason gets a time penalty for that. Obviously I didn't have the best angle on him. I'm sure it's accurate, and now an Alpine's getting involved as well. Wiggin though makes contact with Padarang. Is that Padarang out of the race? No, but it is him without a front wing end plate. Oh, what went on there? Wiggin and Padarang with contact there coming through the first sector on lap 6. Padarang up 9 positions, up at the P6. Is going to be absolutely fuming with that effort. He's going to be absolutely fuming. Sadly couldn't really get a good angle off that incident, but... oh, no. That is going to be investigated after the race, I'm sure. Gonna have one unhappy Brit in the post-race briefing as Vister picks himself up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit infractions. As for the top 5, that situation's calmed down quite a bit at the moment. Djokovic still behind Squidge, 0.7 of a second is the gap, so he's still within DRS length. But everyone else has fallen off a little bit. Iwat's now on the back of Wiggin. As Padarang, is he heading into the pit lane? Yes, he is, with a broken front wing, just having to manage his way into the pit lane as well, trying to not pick up a penalty. No sign of a safety car or a virtual quite yet. It's yellow through sector 1. I believe that was Padarang coming out of the pit lane just a bit slowly. No, I believe it was Hybrid coming out of turn 1 actually. Padarang is just making his way out of pit lane now, so that is a costful pit stop. We'll wait and see how this race unfolds. And oh, Djokovic along with Ondrejek, 2 drivers being caught up in the same corner there. Ondrejek is surely he's got front wing damage. What on earth went on? Surely Ondrejek, his front wing somehow survived that. Along with Djokovic's, that is gone entirely. Nasi, well and truly in control of this race now. It's kicking off. It is Australia. It's the Australian Grand Prix in NEF1. It's all happening. Nasi at the moment in the lead of the championship, I believe, with this incident as well. Djokovic goes straight into the pit lane for a new front wing. Ondrejek, luckily, survives that. but he's fallen behind, and now he has some racing to do. Nasi 31 and a beat at the moment. It's a McLaren 1-2, and now they can start playing the strategic games to just keep this. Lap 8 out of 29. This race actually going by rather quickly. We're a third of the way through rather soon. How far down is Djokovic going to emerge? He's coming out of the pit lane now. Still inside the points. Vister's coming into the pit lane along with Hybrid. It's been a bad lap for quite a couple of guys. A lot of front wing changes. Oh, that is huge for the championship. Djokovic, is he just starting to crack a little bit under the pressure? Nasi's putting him under pressure in a championship fight that we've not really seen Djokovic being put under this type of pressure before, consistently throughout the season. We've seen Djokovic chase, and we've seen him being caught slowly from quite a big gap behind. But now he's having to contend with Nasi through every single part of the season, and he's struggling at the moment to keep with the pressure. We're seeing a couple of more mistakes from him than we've seen so far. Iwat's an undercheck teammate for the evening then. It's Iwat's going to make this difficult for his teammate. We'll wait and see. Iwat's is not one to give up position too easily. I don't think he's going to do so on this occasion either. No, he's not. All the while, No Larks is right there for the taking as well. I don't think Iwat's going to fight this one too hard though, realizing his race is with No Larks and not undercheck. Lets him go, and it's a nice little swap between the two. Alpine's undercheck back into the top 5. But he's got an awful lot of ground to make up, because Nasi is leading the race by 2.2 over Squidge, who's actually been able to get it past a beat. It's all kicking off here, and I'm not seeing any of it by the look of things. It's not a brilliant night on commentary for me, must say. As Danny DC, driver for Ferrari as well, not racing tonight, is watching this race and just getting, I'd say, rather anxious at the moment. It's not going well for Ferrari so far at this stage of the season. Djokovic at the moment scoring 1 point. Danny not racing tonight, will be scoring no points. Whilst McLaren is currently running first and third, they're locked into a championship fight. Oh, haha, this could be a good weekend for McLaren if they can keep this result or even improve on it. Because here goes Beatty on Squidge. 7 attempts is the gap. He's going to be able to close that up a little bit. Maybe heading into the second overtaking zone. No, actually, we got a safety car. We got the first safety car of the Grand Prix, and now this is going to shake a couple of things up. Ondrejek having not changed tyres yet. Djokovic recently has, and he's going to dive straight into the pit lane here for what I would imagine is a set of hards, potentially try to go to the end. Indeed, hard tyres going on the Ferrari. What is going on everyone else? I would imagine hards on them as well. I have no clue what the safety car was for, though. I have no clue what the safety car was for. I would imagine a little bit of debris maybe stuck on the racing line, because this game does like calling safety cars for stuff like that. Curious timing. Lap 10 out of 29, just before the pit window was about to open anyways. So it does interrupt everyone's strategies just a little bit. It does give Ondrejek a brilliant opportunity to catch back up to the leading pack. So let's see even. Surely Nasi has to go into the pit lane. Doesn't really have a choice at the moment. What does a BT do? He's following his teammate in as Djokovic. No, oh god, it's getting worse for the championship leader. He gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car after just having made a pit stop as well. That means Djokovic, he's gonna be well and truly lost, because he's not allowed to serve that penalty under the safety car. Djokovic is having the race of nightmares at the moment, the championship leader. And are we going to be talking about this, because we're going into the mid-season break, are we going to be talking about this at the end of the season as when the championship swung, perhaps back into Nasi's favour? Nasi was in control of the championship after the first 2-3 races. Djokovic caught back up after some brilliant performances winning 5 races in a row, 2 sprints and 3 Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. But now, Nasi seemingly in control of this one. Undercheck a couple of places behind. Hard ties going on for both of them. Oh, it's a tough one. What's with soft tires on? Has he made a pit stop yet? No, he has not. So he's on old soft. The question is, how much is he gonna hinder everyone here? Because those tires are gonna be on paper. They're gonna be softer than everyone else's. They're also gonna be way more worn down. So I don't reckon those softs are really the tire to be on at this stage. So an awkward situation this for Iwat as well. Squidge 2017 in P3, hard tires. BT, hard tires. Wigan, hard tires. Undercheck, hard tires. No Larks, hard tires. Everyone is basically on the hard tires apart from Padarang and JV8, going slightly more aggressive. Probably hoping for another safety car. This race is turning interesting. So we're going to be on the safety car for at least another lap here. Iwatts comes into the pit lane then. Getting rid of the softs, I would imagine, for a set of hards. This is a tricky one to call, really. Nasi definitely in control of this one. He's got BT behind him, he's got Squidge behind him, he's got Wigan behind him. He's going to be feeling rather comfortable. Undercheck is going to be coming through. We'll see how long that takes, and we'll see how high up he gets. BT is going to be putting up one hell of a fight when he sees Undercheck behind him on track. Along with this, I believe Djokovic has tried to serve his penalty in the pit lane on the safety car, which isn't allowed, and it slapped a set of mediums on him instead. Which would be interesting, because Djokovic is also obliged to listen to these race broadcasts, where I have said that you can't serve that penalty under the safety car. The game won't let you. This is a really interesting situation in this race so far. Nasivan in the lead, followed by Squidge and a BT. It's a 1-3 for McLaren, split by the Williams. Squidge 2017 doing a remarkable job here in Albert Park tonight. Decent qualifying, even better in the Grand Prix as of yet. Here we go then. The safety car is going to come in this lap, and this is a thumbnail if I've ever had one. This is a thumbnail if I've ever had one. Every single car, it looks like a NASCAR restart almost with that shot. I would actually not mind doing rolling NASCAR starts almost in F1, lined up 2 by 2. Here we go then, the safety car is in the pit lane. Nasi's free to restart this race at his pleasing, and I believe he already has. Yes, he has. The race is back underway, and he has bridged the gap of 0.8 of a second to Squidge already. I don't believe Squidge was ready for that one bit, but I believe BT was. Undercheck now is going to try to get past Wigan as soon as he can. This is going to be an interesting one, maybe already down to turn 3. Tries to pick up a run on him, but not quite close enough to think about a move down the inside. Longer or less this goes on for, the further away Nasi, BT and Squidge is gonna get. Meanwhile, Djokovic's currently down in P13. This is gonna be a tough race for Djokovic to get anything out of. Undercheck here next to Wigan is gonna take P4 away from him, heading into the chicane. Undercheck doing everything he needs to just power his way past and try to stick with the leaders. Next in line is a BT. A BT who is relatively close to Squidge at the moment. Nasi's doing BT every favor that he can as well, by breaking the toe from Squidge. Squidge then, when DRS will be re-enabled, won't have any, a BT will. And to be fair, if BT wanted to be really, really annoying now, he could just not overtake Squidge if he fancies. And that is going to make it a lot harder for Ondruchek to overtake either of them. We saw that little DRS train effect come into play in France. At that point it was Squidge and Spenklos doing it to Nassi. And obviously both participants don't need to be willing to make that work. ABT could just follow Squidge with that DRS and just be a little bit annoying. Worth pointing out as well, Padarang has made his way back into the points after the previous incident with Wigan on lap 6. So good to see Padarang back up into the points. He was running a really, really good race up until then. See what happens after the race. But Nassi has broken away a little bit in the lead of this race. 1.5 seconds, and this is going to be a race where you can't really afford any sort of time penalties either. If you get one, that could massively affect the outcome of the result. But everyone seemingly staying pretty cool on this restart. Penalties are coming every now and again. We'll wait and see. Here we go, then DRS is enabled this lap, and now things are going to get interesting. BT, is he going to make his way past Squidge, or is he going to start parking the bus and trying to be a little bit annoying to Ondruchek? Because all whilst this is going on, Nassi's breaking away. Let's see if those team games start forming. Ondruchek at the moment on a run of 2 race wins in a row. See if he is going to be able to convert it into a third one, or if the progress halts on 2. Darren, freezing a time penalty for multiple time or track limits infractions. Goes towards his tally at the end of the race. Squidge at the moment will be doing everything he can as well to get back into the DRS zone of NEF1. He's not going to be overly comfortable in this position, especially if BT is dragging Ondruchek up towards him. Squidge is going to be maybe the most uncomfortable guy out on track at the moment. He's got 2 of, on paper, the fastest guys in the league behind him. BT is unbeatable on his day. Ondruchek is unbeatable almost every day, it seems like. But not today, because NEF1 has been able to take the lead away from him after a little bit of a mistake heading into turn 9. A mistake that was followed by Djokovic. Djokovic, though, came off much, much worse. He's currently outside the points in P12. Here we go then. 4 tenths of a second is the gap, 5 tenths of a second, and up to down to 4 again. BT and Squidge. Is BT gonna go for it? Maybe heading into the chicane. He has to run on him. Yes, he does. BT takes P2 away from Squidge now. Was that, though, maybe a bit of a tactical decision by Squidge, just letting BT go there to be able to control his own race? Don't really think so. BT had a decent run on him. He does like a rapid car in a straight line, does BT. Usually running quite low down for setups. Ondruchek now very much involved in this battle as well, and now it gets interesting. This is the battle for P2 at the moment, as Djokovic is stressing a little bit and picks himself up another 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. The thing is, BT now will be able to control the pace of this pack a little bit and maybe just back them up. So that's going to be another interesting thing. If BT maybe even sacrifices his own race a little bit to make sure that a gap is created to Nassi, that if Ondruchek makes it past this little train, he won't be able to get to. This is obviously all assuming that ABT is playing a team game at all and trying to help Nassi. We are still in the stage of the season where I wouldn't blame BT at all for just trying to grab the win outright. But here goes Squidge, here goes Ondruchek on BT. And this is not what BT would have needed. Because now Ondruchek is free to go after Squidge as well. BT crucial for him to get past Undercheck here. He's gonna try around the outside. No, not quite. Tries to force Undercheck to go a little bit wide coming out of turn 12, but that's not gonna work. And how to turn tables here. A BT from P2 down to P4 in less than a corner's time. And this is now turned incredibly interesting. Nassi 2 seconds down the road. Keep in mind that is 1 second until you have DRS. It's turning into a really interesting battle, this. I've been really bad at covering the midfield this season, and I do apologize about that, but the battles we're having at the front between usually the top 5 every single week this season, they're absolutely sublime. It's been absolutely brilliant to watch. Undercheck here goes round the outside of Squidge, and BT tries to follow through, can't quite. Now Undercheck might be released here. Squidge needs to try to get past, and quickly, but he's not going to be able to, using up a lot there. A beat, he's going to send one down the inside, he's going to oversend it. Yes, he is. Squidge going to battle for that one. Squidge doesn't really care about this. He fancies a podium here. He's going to do everything he can to hold up BT, and he does. Undercheck has now broken that 1 second gap as well, and now he's going to be free to chase after Nassi. We've still got a battle for the lead here. As BT now into turn 1, is he going to have Squidge? Yes, he is. Is Squidge going to be able to return on him straight away? Maybe round the outside, maybe down the inside into turn 3. Just a bit too far back. That's a joy to watch. That is a joy to watch between ABT and Squidge, but it's not worked out as I'm sure they would have liked. As just response to Playgreen's comment about the amount of penalties being handed out, it's quite regular, obviously, the penalties being handed out for just the track limit violations. And it's very, very rare to see someone disqualified. I think you need about 35 seconds for something like that to happen, so I think we're out of the risk zone for that. Squidge 2017 once again on a BT down the inside into turn 12 is the way to go, and BT can't really defend a long way around. Squidge back up into the top 3. And whilst this is going on, they're losing ground to Undercheck and Nassi quickly. 2 seconds is now the gap as BT goes down the inside once again into turn 1. And I reckon this is now going to be a case of who makes the mistakes first. And as I said that, Squidge makes that mistake. Has he lost any front wing? No, he hasn't. But that's under that little battle. BT in P3. Squidge just getting on the power a bit too eagerly coming out of turn 1. And that's cost him. That has cost him. Darren Style at the moment on the back of No Larks as well for P6 on track. Keep in mind penalties will be applied. Djokovic at the moment back into the points, but those time penalties could come back to bite him. And at the moment, it's a long way down to little drips. So at the moment, that's fine. It's going to be a bit of a trickier one for Djokovic. Let's just say that. Oh, it's Darren. Oh, can he keep it out of the wall, and can he avoid getting stuck? As we have another safety car, we have a stationary Alfa Romeo on the side of the track in the George Russell place. That is a blatant copy of the George Russell incident, actually. Parked in the exact same place as well, if I'm not mistaken. And Lil Drips is out of the race. We have the second safety car of the race. Everyone's diving into the pit lane. I would assume soft tires is going on. Nassi, soft tires. Undercheck is soft tires going on. And what is going to happen to Undercheck? Is he going to be held in traffic at all here? Squidge, is he going to be able to jump Undercheck in the pits? No, he's not. Undercheck, medium tires. With 8 or 9 laps to go. How long does a set of soft last is the question. How long does a set of softs last? Going back to the Twitch chat as well, it's been a little while. Christina the Gamer, at the moment Matt is not racing, which is usually the driver that she cheers for. Now, going for his teammate, Nolark, getting a bit of support from Christina the Gamer there. Nolark's currently sitting in a very, very good P6. Just behind Wigan as well, who's now on that medium tire. This is going to be an interesting restart. This is going to be a really interesting restart. And keep in mind, everyone with those time penalties are going to be hating this safety car. Because that's brought them right back into contention to lose even more positions. This is an interesting one indeed. Nasi on the soft tires then is going to be getting a good restart. The question is, how long is Undercheck going to be able to chase after him for? What is Squidge and BT going to be able to do? Speaking about Undercheck, Play Green Gaming, thank you very much for the compliments as well about the racing. There is a lot more of this to watch if you fancy as well. The entirety of this season currently up on the YouTube channel as well. I highly recommend the first race of the season in Bahrain. It's an absolutely brilliant one. So if you do want to get some context, get to know the drivers, all the races are on the YouTube channel. So then, it's a late safety car here. 2/3 of the race are completed. 2/3 of the race completed. We're coming up to the final couple of laps then. I would assume the safety car is going to be coming in at the end of next lap. Potentially even this would be quite nice. Undercheck is going to be hoping that the safety car comes in as soon as possible for his mediums to start taking effect. The longer the safety car stays out for, the more it plays into the hands of Nasi, Squidge and ABT. But I am curious about the call to go onto the mediums, because a couple of people did it. Undercheck, Wigan and Vister. Vister, I haven't actually given any screen time over the course of this race. It's been a hectic one up front, but Vister in his debut is having a decent race, up to P9 at the moment for that Mercedes. Once again, he's one of those guys that opted for the medium tires. Let's have a look at what he's going to be able to do from that position as well. A couple of time penalties worth to keep your eye on, though. That is going to affect the order of things. Djokovic in P10. Soft tires going on the Ferrari. Padrang in P11. Iwatts in P12. JV8 in P13. We have lost Little Drips and Samo Bamo from this Grand Prix. As JV8 might actually be able to control when the safety car comes in. If he re-emerges in this train in just a couple of moments time, the safety car might be coming in this lap, and he is going to emerge at the back of this train now. And the safety car is coming in this lap. There's a very decent chance JV8 was actually able to control that. We're going to be going racing here at the end of lap 22 then. Nasi, as soon as safety car comes into the pit lane, he has control. He has the tire advantage. Oh, this is going to be good. Nasi versus Undercheck for the win of the Australian Grand Prix. Squidge and ABT right there as well. Let's go racing at the end of lap 22. When is Nasi going to restart this? There we go, and he gets a jump on Undercheck a little bit. Gives him some safety. Squidge not quite able to get the jump on Undercheck though, and stays third. No Larks up a position on Wigan on the medium tires already. ABT now very much on the back of Squidge round the outside, and oh, that is a move and a half from ABT if he can make it work. A little bit of contact. Oh, and that has cost Squidge dearly. ABT holding the outside. I didn't see anything unfair in that whatsoever. I think it was just a bit of racing contact indeed. But I'm sure we'll have a look at it after the race anyways. Here we go, and Nasi, Undercheck and BT. And Undercheck now in a bit of a peculiar situation. He's not really able to stick with Nasi, who is breaking away. And ABT on that soft tires coming up behind. Oh, here we go. This is going to be a good ending to this race. No larks at the moment as well. Up in P4. And there's every single chance that Nassi, Undercheck and BT just get a bit too spicy with each other, have a moment. No larks could end up on a podium in this race. Wigan and Darren having a good race as well. P5 and P6 for the Red Bull boys. This is turning into a really good Australian Grand Prix. Nassi, fastest lap of the race so far, which gives him an extra championship point. JV8 at the moment running in a beautiful position to actually score some points at the end of this one as well with the time penalties he's got ahead of him. Just needs to maintain a decent pace throughout this Grand Prix. Undercheck trying to stick with Nassi at the moment. But Nassi with those softs might have this covered off. BT's been able to get back within a second off Undercheck as well. Lost out a little bit on that restart, but now well and truly back in contention. Undercheck just gaining a little bit on Nassi on the straights though. Question is, how much is he using to be able to do that? Wiggins retired from this session, and we have another safety car. Wiggins crashed out coming out of the chicane, and yet another late safety car. I don't reckon anyone's going into the pit lane now, unless you're maybe a Vister to get rid of the medium tires. Unless you're a Vister, there's no point in coming into the pit lane now. Undercheck surely can't. No. But Vister realistically has nothing to lose at all. He's lost anyways. He's going to be able to get fresher tires on. He realizes that and goes straight into the pit lane. No point in being on the mediums at that stage of the Grand Prix. But the more this goes on, the more it helps Nassi Fatty 1. The racing laps are coming to an end here. And those mediums of Undercheck are never going to be able to take it or to get any real benefit. We're going to be facing a short safety car though. I need to have a glass of water. I'll be right back in just a moment's time. Hybrid is out of this race as well in turn 1 it appears like. I believe he's stuck perhaps. Indeed, Hybrid is out of this race. Maybe stuck in the gravel trap in turn 1? Now evidently going and stop pattering. What is going on? Is Hybrid out of this race or is he not out of this race? Because he's moving on the track map once again. And now he's stopped. Wonder if he maybe got stuck in a gravel trap there. We'll investigate that after the race. Actually, I can't really go have a glass of water now in case the safety car comes in at the end of this lap. If it doesn't, I will mute my mic and have a quick glass of water and be right back. And indeed, I'll be right back in a moment's time. As there we go, a freshly watered throat for the last couple of laps worth of this Australian Grand Prix. It is heating up. It is heating up here. It's become like stage racing in NASCAR. This basically towards the last couple of laps of a NASCAR race, you usually just have green and white checkers all over the place. And this is actually rather similar. Nassi, Undercheck, and BT. in the command of this race. JV8 currently inside the points, and if he can get a good restart here, he very well could be finishing in P5 actually, if he can keep tabs on Darren, Squidge, Djokovic and Padarang ahead of him. This could be a brilliant race for JV8. Wait and see. Just needs to get a good restart here. The safety car is coming in already. It's made that call. Nasi is going to be massively backing up the field to give himself the largest opportunity for a restart possible. Here we go. Nasi, Undercheck and BT are the guys we're looking at. No Larks in P4 having a good race as well. Darren in P5 followed by Squidge, Djokovic, Padarang, JV8, Iwat and Vister currently only drivers sitting outside the points in P11. As Nasi doing everything he can to just warm up those tires. Want to get the best launch possible. Undercheck a little more sticking to the racing line. Not really want to dirty them. Nasi gets the race underway earlier this time. Just shaking things up a bit. Undercheck more able to stick with him on this go. But also BT is able to stick with Undercheck a little bit better. Here we go then. We have 3 laps to go. And it is close between the top 3. No Larks involved as well, but you almost expect the top 3 to take off a little bit. No Larks is incredibly good, is quicker than me, as recently established, but maybe not quite on the level to hang with these guys quite yet. I'm sure it's coming though. Absolutely sure it's coming. Here we go. Undercheck on the back of Nasi. 3.5 temps up to 4. Down to 3.5s again and back up to 4. This is turning interesting. This is turning really, really interesting. Undercheck, is he going to be able to launch an offensive perhaps on Nasi? Somehow. BT's just there as well. Cautionary flags in sector 3. Djokovic has had an issue coming out of the chicane. Djokovic, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 left to go, he's not going to score points. Djokovic is going to end up without points. Maybe just pit this lap, try to take the fastest lap away from, I believe it would be Nasi. But Djokovic's having an awful race. Here we go, ABT on Undercheck. This could be huge for the championship. Can he pull a move round the outside or down the inside into turn 1? No, but he gets an almighty run on him. And Undercheck also with a run on Nasi. This is going to turn out to be a freeway battle for the lead. Don't count out anyone quite yet, because BT's right there as well. Nasi couldn't quite shake Undercheck. We have 2 laps to go. We're going to have 1 lap with DRS here. Yeah, this is incredibly intense here at the end of this race. Don't you dare go anywhere. This is not done yet. Undercheck 4 tenths of a second behind Nasi. BT 4 tenths of a second behind him. It's closing. 2.5 tenths as we enter the chicane. And now Nasi should get a bit of a better run coming out of it with those better tires. But that advantage is slowly going away, and Undercheck is creeping closer every single lap. But the question is, does he have enough to mount an offensive? Because we have 1 lap to go. 3 real overtaking opportunities. Down to turn 1, into turn 3, and into the chicane. Here we go then. Last lap of the race. Nasi, Undercheck, or BT. Undercheck, the fast offensive could come down to turn 1. It won't. Now then, into turn 3, Nasi's got to play this clever. He's got to play this smart. Undercheck will be sitting behind him, not even enabling DRS. He is preparing an offensive into that chicane. Surely, you're going to have an opportunity into the chicane, and also keep in mind 4 DRS zones around this track actually. And also into turn 12. Nasi's pulled away just a little bit into sector 1. BT's not going to be able to assist with that one. He's just that bit too far back. Undercheck or Nasi. If Nasi loses this one, it is going to be absolutely heartbreaking. Undercheck has to run on him into chicane. Undercheck, is he going to be able to do this into the detection zone? Is Nasi going to have anything to come back at him with? DRS, Undercheck might have snatched this from Nasi on the last lap of the race, and he has. Unless Undercheck makes a mistake now, it is him for the win. Nasi is going to be heartbroken with that. but Undercheck played it to absolute perfection, and maybe the medium tires is what did it in the end. And Undercheck, after not having led a majority of this race, takes it on the very last lap of this race. It's P2 for Nassi, but it's P1 for the third race in a row. For Undercheck 51, a beat in P3, followed by Nolarks in P4. Squidge takes a P5 with Padarang. Couple of solid points there in P8 now after penalties applied. Iwatts all the way up in P5 for a season best result, if I'm not mistaken. Darren in P7, Padarang in P8, followed by Vista in P9 and JV8 in P10. Djokovic finishes this race without fuel, I believe, as well. Now I believe Djokovic is just a bit pissed with this race. Reversing across the line. But that is heartbreaking for Nassi. Having led so much of that race and losing it like that on the very, very last lap. Undercheck played it to perfection. Nassi did everything he could, and it should have been good enough. It was good enough. But Undercheck is just on an absolute different level at the moment. But with that result, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe we still have a new championship leader in Nassi. I can't quite confirm it yet, but it is very possible. Djokovic having a weekend to forget there. No points on the board for Ferrari. A lot of points on the board still for McLaren, who absolutely take an iron grip of the championship here. What a race. What an ending. What heartbreak for Nassi 31. It is Undercheck who takes the checkered flag here in Australia. He's followed by Nassi and a BT. No Larks with a season best result, I believe, of P4, followed by Watson Alpine for P5. Squidge in P6, followed by Darren for a season best result of 7 for Red Bull. Padarang in P8, followed by Vista in P9. Points on his debut. Brilliant performance from him. JVA scoring yet another point this season in P10. Djokovic just finishing the race without points in P11. Fastest lap point goes to Nassi 31. Bit of consolation maybe, but I'm sure he would have fancied the win here. But then guys, that has been the first half of this NEF1 season. And just to summarize, I am gonna do some quick maths here at the moment. I'm not good at maths, so please forgive me. But just to summarize what a season we are currently having. Djokovic will stay on 144 points after that result. Nassi will go up on 149 and take the lead of the standings once again after that result. Nassi is the new leader of the Drivers' Championship by 5 points over Djokovic. This is heading once again towards a final decider in Abu Dhabi come the end of the season. We're not close yet, but we're getting there. We're going to be going on a 1-week break, so no race for next Monday. Everyone is going to be able to take the week off and just relax a little bit. We will be back relatively soon. I'm going to be able to give you an exact date in just a moment because I'm currently looking it up. We will be back on April the 8th with the Spanish Grand Prix for 2 consecutive sprints. It's Spain followed by Belgium the week after, to get the season back underway after the mid-season break then. So, we'll be back in exactly 2 weeks' time for the next rendition of NEF1, going around Spain once again. Don't go anywhere because the action continues here on NEF1. So, until then, stay safe and peace out. Congratulations to Undercheck, and we'll see you when NEF1 returns.